ओमज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। So in our last meeting we had discussed up to the verse number 34, is it?
Yes, Project 34.
Yeah. So we'll continue from 35. So this was the situation where Arjuna brings this Ashwathama bound, he brings him toward wherever, like the Pandavas, Yudhishthir Maharaj and Draupadi, etc. were there. I think so. That was the context. Let me just open it. Yeah. So he brings him like an animal, and he's very upset that these two Brahmastras he had used, one on Parikshit, who was still unborn in the womb of his mother, and the other one on Arjuna himself. And Parikshit was saved by Krishna by entering into the womb of Uttara and by encircling the womb so fast that Brahmastra could not penetrate. Some say that Brahmastra could not penetrate. Some say that Brahmastra penetrated through its heat and actually killed the boy. And then Krishna revived the boy. And the other one, as you remember, that he threw the Brahmastra and Arjuna neutralized it in the air by counteracting with another Brahmastra himself. So now we are going ahead. So now there will be a very beautiful scene. Not exactly that we want it to happen, but it does happen anyways. So the description comes of a beautiful scene wherein there is difference of opinion between the Pandavas, Krishna and Arjuna about what to do with this guy, Ashwathama. Okay, so this will go quite long. We'll see if we can complete it today itself. If we can, it will be very good because that is what is the remaining chapter, and it is very revealing in terms of lessons we can learn. Okay, I hope we are able to complete it today. Let's see. Cannot promise it as such. lot of verses, but the subject matter is one only. Okay, text 35. Mainam partharhasi tratum
नैनं पार्थारचित्रातुं
Brahma bandhum imam jahi
ब्रह्मबन्धुमिमं जहि
yosavanagasa suptan
योत्सावनकसासुतां
avadhin nishibalakan.
निशिबालकान्
Lord Krishna said, O Arjuna, you should not show mercy by releasing this relative of a Brahmana, Brahmaban, for he has killed innocent boys in their sleep. The word Brahmabandhu is significant. A person who happens to take birth in the family of a Brahmana but is not qualified to be called a Brahmana is addressed as the relative of a Brahmana and not as a Brahmana. The son of a high court judge is not virtually a high court judge, but there is no harm in addressing a high court's just son as a relative of the honorable justice. Therefore, as by birth only one does not become a high court judge, so also one does not become a Brahmana simply by birthright, but by acquiring the necessary qualifications of a Brahmana. If the High Court judgeship is a post for the qualified man, so also the post of a Brahmana is attainable by the qualification. The Shastra enjoined that even if good qualifications are seen in a person born in a family other than that of Brahmana, the qualified man has to be accepted as a Brahmana. And similarly, if a person born in the family of a Brahmana is void of Brahminical qualification, then he must be treated as a non-Brahmana, or in better terms, a relative of Brahmana. Lord Sri Krishna, the supreme authority of all religious principles, the Vedas, has personally pointed out these differences, and he is about to explain the reason for this in the following shlokas.
Okay. It's a very important topic here, actually. See, Shastras have verses glorifying uh, all three factors: karma, guna, as well as janma. I know usually you all must have heard only of karma and guna, but actually that is the ultimate principle. But if I ask you what is the result of karma, then that is janma only, na bro. So janma cannot be fully neglected, right? So even in ISKCON na, society, like the most senior devotees, most senior Vaishnavas, they ask a person, like, whose son are you? Like, what does your father do? And then they say, like, most probably this guy is also going to be like that. So in previous, like there is a verse which Nanda Maharaj speaks. I think it is in 8th chapter, Gargacharya. So I can show you, I think. Okay, can you display, bro? I think it will be 10.8.6 or 10.8.8 or something like that.
Okay,
Uh,
Prabhu.
just see. Should be around that. So in that verse, he says, Nanda Maharaj says to Gargacharya in Vrindavan, he says, Janmano Brahmano Guru. Janmano Brahmano Guru. He says, you, uh, huh? 10.8.6. भाई इतना जल्दी आप कैसे पता कर लेते हो? आपने बताया amazing. Yeah, this is the verse. त्वं हि ब्रह्मविदां श्रेष्ठ संस्कारान कर्तुमर्हसि. आप ही कर सकते हो संस्कार. बालयोर अनयोर नृणाम जन्मना ब्राह्मणो गुरु. See, जन्मना ब्राह्मणो गुरु. Nanda Maharaj is saying, see the translation. My lord, you are the best of the brahmanas, especially because you are fully aware of the Jyotish Shastra, the astrological science. Therefore, you're naturally the spiritual master of every human being. See, this is the exact line. Janmana Brahmano Guru. So actually, see, when we quote Bhagavad Gita, na, guna karma vibhagasha, that is the ultimate principle. But karma is mostly uh, karma mostly comes out in the form of janma. Like we say ना, अरे इसने ऐसा कर्म किया है तो अगले जन्म में ऐसा होगा, birth. We say like that, right? So karma is most prominently uh, manifested through janma. Therefore, janma cannot be ruled out. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, how do you determine varna of a person? So he says four factors actually. This he says in Jaiva Dharma, I think so. He says in Jaiva Dharma book. What are the four factors? So he says birth, then he says inclination, then he says education, and then he says profession. These four factors actually. How are these four factors, Prabhu? Like Janma you can understand, na? Birth. Second factor he is telling us inclination. So that is guna, which you can observe in some for some period of time. Janma, uh, inclination, then education. So education is also samskaras. It's not just education of like your school education. Not exactly. It's like totally overall. It's samskaras. And fourth is profession. So profession means what choices he makes in terms of association and action. Okay. So ultimately, these four are the factors which will determine. Now, usually, what would happen in the previous ages, in the previous yugas and all these four were quite interlinked actually. You know, like if you determine one, all others would be determined. A Brahmana would do Brahmana karya only. Today, where is the case like that? Today, you don't have cases like that. Today, Brahmanas are in meat industry also. I know so many people like that. Today, Brahmanas are journalists. Today, Brahmanas are into research and technology, right? Brahmanas are doing accountancy work also, actually. Some of the accountants in ISKCON temple I know are from Brahmana families, right? So there is a whole khichdi actually. Hare Krishna. Yes. His battery got over. One minute. Yeah, so basically, like samskaras play a very, very vital role. But nobody bothers to notice samskaras difference. So पहले जब आप जन्म बोलते थे तो उसके साथ साथ संस्कारस फॉर श्योर थे कि वैसे ही होंगे, एसोसिएशन भी श्योर था कि वैसा ही होगा. इवन मैरिजेस वुड हैपन बिटवीन देम ओनली. बट अभी क्या है, अभी एकदम वो हो गया एक्चुअली. अनदर थिंग ना, जन्म भी एग्जैक्टली पता नहीं कर सकते कलयुग में कि एक्चुअली जन्म क्या है आजकल. whose wife associates with whom, it's very unclear. Yeah, it's reality. It's not just movie thing, Prabhu. It's actually in reality. People like whom they associate with na is very unclear. Another factor is people adopt. Yeah, and then the previous like another thing is people have surnames, but they are not actually from that family. ये भी होता है. वो lineage वो नहीं है, वो surname चला आ रहा है since many generations. So and then samskaras definitely are missing. So there are this many. हटा दो उसको, हटा दो साइड में कर लो. So there are this many factors actually because of which exactly Janma is not very clear. Now even if Janma is clear, then you have to go for association. So वो association किसका ले, लेकिन association अभी पूरा मिली जुली सरकार चल रही है ना. They send to school and anybody he is associating with. he's playing with everybody. Like colonies में ऐसा कुछ है नहीं. आप पहले देखो जैसे श्रीरंगम है. In Srirangam still you know ना that Brahmanas live together, Brahmana families, those who are pujaris, and then their kids you will see they associate 90% time with other Brahmana kids only. I know in Nathadwara also there is a in Rajasthan there is some little group is there like that. So uh, so in the higher caste especially this was very important. But अभी क्या है बहुत एकदम एकदम मिक्स हो चुका है सब कुछ. It's very very difficult to figure out. So even if you figure out Janma, then association, how do you figure out? You know, it's a totally screwed up situation, mixed up situation. And even if you figure out association, then person's profession. So many people are working as pujaris, and at the same time they're running a shop or they're doing a job. Correct. So see, when you run a shop or a business or you do a job, I mean the contaminations do come in. You cannot deny it. You know, even in temple, even within a temple, if you have to run a business, you can't just be a brahmana. You know, right? It's not possible actually. So that is the thing that it has to be seen in totality like that. And then inclinations are of course there, so that may be dependent on individual soul. So most important factor I would say, which is critical factor, which is missing today, is samskaras. Then the next critical factor is association. So like in the schools, in the society, in the colonies, okay, in their workplace, its association is totally gone case. And then another third factor I would say is profession also. So profession even puts people in situation where they are forced to not act in their own varna. It's a very low level act one has to do because of the situation, because of the profession. Yeah. And then Janma itself is also a factor which represents karma of the previous life. Now he may make choices in this life also, right? So yeah. Otherwise, Prabhu, you can see like there is even verse like Shuchinam Shrimatam Gehe, which we ourselves quote. So that is representing birth, right? Oh, you've done bhakti and you've made your very good choices in this life. So you'll get next birth like this. We ourselves say. Yeah. So therefore, these four factors, Bhaktivinoda Thakur quotes to determine varna of a person. Yeah.
Regarding birth, you're saying that like karma of previous life. So like after birth, like when we have good samskaras throughout, like is
Yeah.
So can this imply in his like attitude or character and everything?
Yeah, of course. That will.
That can
Yeah, samskaras change so much actually. Samskaras change a person so much. See, even we now, after coming from our 18-20 years in the beginning, samskara, janma, associations have gone case, right? After that, also a little bit, some 2-3 years we spend in voice or in temple. So much difference, right? That is samskara. Samskaras means impressions. Especially in the early years, like childhood years, the samskaras have the deepest impression. Okay. So samskaras means what habits or what culture and what knowledge you are exposed to. Okay. What food you are exposed to. Like all those. So there are this 16 samskaras in the Sanatan Dharma, among the Hindus. They are most basic. But then there is samskaras in the daily life also. Okay. Nowadays even ये तो खत्म ही कर दिया ना. क्या बोलते हैं गोद भराई को क्या बोलते हैं वो वाला संस्कार, गर्भाधान संस्कार, ये तो खत्म ही कर दिया है. तो this has boiled down to animals only. Hardly 1% Hindus may be doing Garbhadhan Samskar. Garbhadharan, like before you conceive, like tomorrow if you are going to conceive, then today it is done. So nobody does that. Even Mrityu Samskar, और अंतिम संस्कार जिसको बोलते हैं, it's not done with seriousness, it's just formality. विवाह संस्कार is also done totally with formality. अरे पंडित आएगा, उसको बोलो जल्दी जल्दी मंत्र पढ़ ले, कुछ पता ही नहीं कुछ. It's a very gross understanding. So at least diksha samskar in our own society we still do it to a good degree properly. I would not say that still it is done fully properly. There are many places where adjustments are made like that. And what to say of regular samskaras, which are not exactly listed in those 16 samskaras? Like, for example, we are taught that we should bow down to Vaishnavas in the morning, right? But now, how many devotees do it actually? Then we are taught discipline, like, or obedience to follow Guru. So many devotees take it very casually. You tell them something, just say, bro, I'm sorry, I didn't do it. Again, after 1 week, also they'll tell the same thing. So then, what is the so people do not have that kind of character also to actually follow. Samskaras have impact if someone is willing to accept also. But there is a that's why in childhood, if one is exposed to some samskaras like that, then it becomes very easy. Like serving the cows or respecting the elders. These don't come in spiritual samskaras, but these are also samskaras which are received in the childhood, and they go very deep actually. Like you can see Prabhupada, na, Abhay, of course, don't say Prabhupada came from spiritual world and all that. That's a different point of view. But here you see Abhay says so many places that in my childhood I used to go to the Mulik temple of Radha Govinda and I used to simply stare at Radha Govinda. So, Prabhu, it is so true because even today you ask me, for me, the deepest samskaras of Krishna are related to Kshinaji, Gopalji. Because my entire childhood I spent there. Not exactly every day, but every month at least 3-4 days. So you just go there and so similarly about cows. So these things become very prominent actually in your deep into your subtle body. Very, very prominent. You heard Krishna's names or you have heard Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. You cannot live without it throughout your life. Something will be there behind. You can see in eating also, like the moment a person from Odisha may hear about meal or food, they may think of rice. Rice and then what do they have? Dalma or something like that. Bengalis, they think of potatoes and rice. Of course, unfortunately, they may think of fish also. So, or a person from West India, Central India, or North India may think of chapati for sure. So mentally, he cannot think of other food. He ends up thinking of that food. You may even give him another food for next many years, more years than the childhood, but still that impression is there. So like that, a man keeps comparing his wife with his mother. Why? Because he had that conception of the woman being very affectionate and this and that because of the mother actually. So the impressions are very deep, Prabhu. So therefore, anybody's childhood or anybody's initial years in spiritual life, if they are under our watch, under our responsibility, then how careful we have to be, how responsible we have to be, like that. Okay. Any questions or comments, Prabhu? Then only we'll go ahead if this concept is clear. Nobody?
That preaching
Loud.
like giving the good samskaras, impressions about Krishna.
Yeah, but preaching is much more than that. But yeah, Diksha is also samskar. Diksha is a samskar. Like Vivaha is a samskar. So therefore, Diksha, because Diksha then makes a deep impression on the persons. Now in ISKCON, they're thinking to do Shiksha Samskar also, like formally having a ceremony in which one will accept Shiksha Guru. Because Indians especially do not value Shiksha Guru. They value only Diksha Guru. Why? Because they have this smartha tendency. Like, so Westerners, they have like this tendency. You tell them this is the, so then they take the text as it is. Okay, both are equal manifestations of Diksha Guru. Diksha Guru. In fact, in our society, we have this service authority also. He is also equally manifestation of Prabhupada or Parampara, right? But then service authority may change also. But Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru, one may. So then they are thinking now, and the discussion is going on. Should we have a formal ceremony so that the impression is there that otherwise people don't take seriously, and then they offend, then they lose, they fall down. So Diksha is definitely a samskar. Yeah. Like camps also, or yatras you go, they create deep samskaras. Festivals create samskaras because it's a very prominent thing on the. So therefore, initial day handling of people is a very critical thing that will determine where the person goes eventually. What will he do? Pure devotional service? Will he not? Okay. Any other question?
While preaching, we see that like many boys are interested in spiritual life, but
Yeah.
they come from very bad childhood and something.
Yes.
So if they continue for a prolonged period of time,
Yes.
like can they have like good impressions completely?
So see, bro, these are two different things. Like these all samskaras and all, they have effect on our body only. Body means material body, which is mind, like subtle body or gross body. So this is called swabhava. In totality, this is called swabhava. Swabhava means nature. So nature is the acquired nature, maybe because of all these factors from the previous lives. Previous lives, there's a material momentum coming. You know, momentum in the sense like some type of velocity he has gained from some life. Some other type of velocity he has gained from the previous life, and in this life also. So that momentum is a kind of a aggregate, like you have CGPA like that. So this is called Swabhava. So we you know which Varna do we belong to? What is our inclination? These are all material factors which totally come under Swabhava. Then there is another factor called Shraddha. Okay. So Shraddha means what deep inside my like soul, what is my Shraddha? So for example, I know devotees who are not practicing, hardly they are practicing, hardly one round a day they may be chanting, may not be even that much. Like there is one friend of mine. So every year he donates few lakhs to us. Sometimes 2 lakhs, sometimes 5 lakhs. Between 2 to 5 lakhs every year he has been donating personally. But so his Shraddha is very clear. I would say his Shraddha is not no less than my Shraddha. Whatever I have, definitely not less than mine. But he is not practicing because his swabhava uh, is making him struggle actually. What is his swabhava? His swabhava is he has a lot of ambitions for earning money. Second, he has a lot of ambition for proving to society or his family people that I am also, capable of. So right now he's in US. He'll be returning to India in some time. Well, he is in India only, but he keeps going, traveling US, India, Switzerland, like that job. So, so he's from UP only, originally. Originally, now God knows from where is he now. So and he has this swabhava of going to the top. He says, I have to like become one of the directors of the company and all that. He's in very big company, multinational company. Of course, now recently he has become little, uh, you know, cool down because he was about to have divorce. So this swabhava of a person, like somebody may be very lusty. Okay. Like I know one devotee who is deadly against this BJP, and he's totally with Samajwadi Party and this Congress. Now these are totally anti-Sanatan, right? I know devotee who was fully with Mamata Banerjee. But interestingly, their Shraddha is with, they are trying to practice pure devotional service. This is very bewildering. But they have this material agenda, some material agendas they have, which these guys were, or their parties were fulfilling. I know devotee doing this protest in Jantar Mantar, Delhi. In fact, sending me the clips and slogans and all. I say, you fool, you rascal. I mean, out of compassion, I'm telling him, क्या कर रहे हो तुम? But then his swabhava is very much. I know one initiated devotee who drinks liquor because in his business he faced a lot of uh, like yeah business, or I would say social life, like with his wife. So twice he had divorce also, and then as such he's a very successful businessman. He must have earned by the age of 40, between the age of 30 and 40, he must, of 30 to 45 maybe, he must have earned more than 100 crores. Yeah. Can you imagine this guy? He was a pauper. He had no money at all by the age of 30. And by the age of 45, he definitely had more than 100 crores. बट उसके बिजनेस में किसी ने उसको बहुत बड़ा झटका दिया, उसके कॉम्पिटिटर्स ने, like the competitors, and he had some legal cases also. So of course he had still has a lot of money, but his business momentum went down, and most importantly his ego got hurt. So his problem is his ego. The Swabhava is very strong. He started drinking, bro. But you won't believe it, he is very attached to his Diksha Guru. Very attached. So his Diksha Guru was counseling him directly. अरे नहीं नहीं छोड़ दो दारू. थोड़ा को समझाया तो छोड़ दिया वापस. But Prabhu, even while drinking, he was heavily serving his Guru's mission and his Guru's temples. He would have given at least 20, 25 crore to his Guru's temples, minimum. So see, these are strange cases. These are not to say that we should follow these cases. But believe me, they are still following pure devotional service. Because their aspirations have not changed. Like you ask me, I have a big Swabhava problem. I struggle with that. There are many such, Swabhava problems. Like one, I'll tell you. For me, cleanliness, or seeing people responsible or irresponsible. So there are some things which I also struggle with. But see, it's not like while chanting, I'm praying to Krishna that Krishna, in return of this chanting, please make India clean like US. Hey, ये ऐसा नहीं करने वाला हूँ मैं. So you see, my aspirations are clear. So our Shraddha defines us primarily, not our Swabhava. Like by Swabhava, I get very angry when I see someone ungrateful, irresponsible, okay, or taking advantage of someone else, exploiting someone. So I definitely have some Swabhavas which I can see, But and see, if I see someone not dutiful, I can be very harsh with him. So this is one Swabhava I struggle with. I clearly struggle with. Similarly, if I see uncleanliness, it's very difficult for me actually. And someone irresponsible means my blood boils directly. It may be father. There are congregation families. I see irresponsible husband, irresponsible, father. My blood boils for like anything, but I cannot do anything. So there is a Swabhava I struggle with, but it's not like I'm chanting or I'm praying to Krishna. Krishna, please, improve this situation, improve this guy. No, it's not like that. I mean, it's just next to my aspiration. My aspiration is still Krishna only. है ना? I know some initiated devotees, very senior devotees in the congregation, like in Mumbai, Pune, so who have tough time with cricket. They actually go sometimes to other countries to watch cricket match. Okay, but they are as good as any of us. They are following path of pure devotional service. It's not like रात को उनको सपने में क्रिकेट खेल रहे हैं या वृंदावन में जाके प्रे कर रहे हैं, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. They know, they are convinced of that this is all temporary, and but there is a swabhava they are struggling with. I know one of our like presidents or vice president of our temples, okay, here in North India, that so in his childhood he struggled heavily with his family and society because of brahmanas and kshatriyas, like so-called brahmins and ठाकुर्स, ऐसा बोलते हैं, पंडित और ठाकुर बोलते हैं यहाँ पे हिंदी में. तो उन्होंने एक्सप्लॉइट किया इनके लोगों को. He was from a lower caste. So now he still carries those prejudices. Can you imagine? मैं उसको बोला भाई तो क्यों, some people like that, but I shouldn't. From your caste there may be more people who may be rascals, and I showed him so many examples. He said whatever that is, but Pandit and Thakur, अरे बाप रे, राग द्वेष this. But it is now. So, but I treat him as good as any other very good devotee. But yeah, there is a struggle because of his past. Now, intellectually, he understands, he's very clear. And slowly, slowly, it will become part of his Shraddha. He has that Shraddha. See, Shraddha, I would say, is still there. But there is a struggle at the level of mind. Like you see a simple college boy. His swabhava is like struggling with pornography. But his Shraddha is, even at the material level, he may be very clear that it is wrong. I don't want to do this. Correct? Even materially. Of course, Shraddha, when we say it's a spiritual thing, the function of the soul. Similarly, I know devotees, wise devotees, Prabhu, who struggle so much with their parents. कि नहीं नहीं पापा ने कहा है, मम्मी ने कहा है. See, also their Shraddha is very clear. अरे पापा मम्मी क्या होता है? कुछ है ही नहीं. There is no relationship. The relationship you have with the dog na here in Balua Ghat, any dog. Same relationship you have with your mother and father. There is no difference. क्या प्रभु, मेरे मम्मी पापा कुत्ते हैं क्या? हैं? एक्चुअली में है. जो बोलना है बोलो, कुत्ते कीड़े मकोड़े, आप कुछ नहीं. Unnecessarily you become caught up with their मम्मी ने ये कहा है, पापा ने ये कहा है, हरे कृष्णा नहीं जाने का, ये नहीं करने का, ये सब बेवकूफी है एक्चुअली. देयर इज नो सब सेल्फिशनेस है, सब illusory relationship. Reality, and you, even if you go and sit in their lap for throughout their life or make them sit in your lap, you cannot change the amount of dukha and sukha they are going to experience. Prarabdha karma, it's set already at the time of birth. Nobody can change. Aprarabdha, yes, you can change, but that will be next life. But for that, you'll have to take some prarabdha. So it's a very thing that swabhava may push a person actually sometimes like that. So in West, I have seen people having so much trouble with swabhavas because maybe in West or India, it's the same thing too actually. Like a woman may be very good devotee, but she may have swabhava chugli or all that, like womanly swabhava, gram mein karta. So some Matajis tell me, क्या प्रभु जी, you believed on us. मैं कहता माता जी, आप लोगों ने कहा था तो. अरे प्रभु जी, we are Matajis, we keep talking all this. They're laughing at me, है ना. अपन कांग्रेस में ऐसे करते हैं लोग, ऐसे ऐसे मतलब घुमा देते हैं. तो अरे तो when to understand, to believe, not believe. So this is, but you should see, we may not be able to trust a person because he's always acting on his swabhava. But we can still love the person and respect the person and value him as a devotee. We have to see his abhilasha. What is his abhilasha? Abhilasha means I want to please Krishna. I want to attain Krishna's lotus feet. I want to go back to God. I am crystal clear. I am spirit soul, and I am part and parcel of Krishna. And Bhakti Yoga is the path. So when we say Jnana Karmadi Anavranam, this is what it means. So if I am, say, if I have a lot of tendency of doing karma means some seva of a particular type. That doesn't mean I'm that Jnana Karmadi Anavratam, that I'm like a karmi in bhakti. No. That he's also doing pure devotional service only, sadhana bhakti. He's doing sadhana bhakti, Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. But he's struggling with his tendency of doing some karma. But see, if his goal was to do that thing only, like he's praying to God that next life also make me, a person who's doing this karma. So then, so we have to see what are his goals, what are his aspirations, where is his Shraddha. So that Shraddha defines him, Prabhu, not Sabhava. Could I make it clear? Was it understandable? Anybody else, Prabhu?
Just one question.
Yeah.
It's a kind of a theoretical question only. So can somebody be a perfected pure devotee, like who has and have like not just a practicing, like who just have some good aspirations, but he has already advanced quite a lot in his spiritual practice, and at the same time have some kind of swabhava which are in gray or dark zone. Like, is it possible? Like, can this?
No. Very, very less, like hardly. Vishwanath Thakur says that very few tinges remain because of the effect of material world at the level of prema. So prema doesn't fully manifest in the material world because it's like if you are in a ocean, so some water you will get now because you're in a place like that. If you're in a coal mine, then you cannot avoid being like some black marks you may get because you're in a place like that. So see, Prabhu, that is called bhava or prema stage. So most of the swabhavas are gone. You cannot say I'm struggling with too many swabhavas, but I am a pure devotee. That is nonsense. Now we may quote example of from the scriptures like Pundarik Vidyanidhi. Pundarik Vidyanidhi was so much in bodily consciousness. He was decorating himself and this and that, and then yet he was a pure devotee.
Yes.
So see, in the case of Mahabhagavatas and all, and especially like Lord's associates in the Lord's direct associates in his Leela, the principle is Vidne na bujhaye, Vaishnavera kriya mudra vidne na bujhaye. That is a principle to be applied there. There is no Swabhava issue there. Now why he was doing that, we have no idea. Like somewhere Prabhupada also acted as quite a businessman, right? Like with Dai Nippon, Bhagavad Gita printing deal and all that. But then Prabhupada is not at all struggling with some Swabhava problem. But he used it in Krishna's service very consciously.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but what the principle of the Shraddha and Swabhava teaches us that when one is a sadhaka, okay, sadhaka means up to nishtha or ruchi level, only up to that. So when a sadhaka, Vaidhi sadhana bhakti he is doing, and still there are some strong elements of swabhavas, then that does not determine whether that person is on the path of pure devotional service or not. He is. But when you say pure devotee, not just on the path of pure devotional service, that means a perfected devotee. Cannot be saying that, oh, because of my swabhava, I just got this woman, this Mataji, and just embraced her and just kissed her. No. Absolutely not. It's not. Both are on the path of pure devotional service. But when one is a perfected devotee or a devotee at the bhava and prema level, he cannot be struggling with at least 99% of the swabhavas. Are we clear, bro?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
But we should not too much focus on like only perfected devotee. We should focus more on Shraddha aspect only, actually. Because see, it is up to Krishna. He may perfect a person in just few moments at the end of his life, because of Lord Chaitanya's mercy. So it's better we focus on person's Shraddha and we acknowledge a person. That's why neophytes in our movement, they have this mentality that brahmacharis are pure devotees and grahasthas are not. Or some say that when a brahmachari changes ashram, even after 5 years, 10 years, they may say, he has fallen down. No, we cannot say fall down. How can you say fall down? See, his aspiration. I know so many devotees, grahasthas, who have much more heart uh, to please and serve their spiritual master and Srila Prabhupada than some brahmacharis. So Shraddha is a factor you cannot determine by gender or by nationality or by age or somehow another problem of, oh, I am from voice or I am from base or something, I am well trained. This is nonsense. You may be trained, Prabhu, but that doesn't determine your Shraddha. Also, some people may be very empowered to preach, but that may not determine their purity level or their Shraddha level. That's a different thing. Somebody may be more effective in preaching, maybe because of his karma. Krishna has given some sort of spiritual counterpart. It's very difficult to say actually. So,
Krishna,
and yeah,
would you like you just mentioned that the swabhava that someone might be like a good preacher or something, but we also hear that some like a person's ability in devotional services, how much they can convert the materialistic people into devotees. Like so that is
yes.
also.
So when you preach to a person, so it's not just one person who has impact. So sometimes, like there may be a young boy who might go to a college and might do tremendous result he may bring. But the transformation of the heart, see, bringing people, recruiting is one thing, but then actually giving them that Shraddha in the heart now. Like I did not meet Radhanath Maharaj in my voice days, right? But my maximum Shraddha came from his association, Vani association, right? So I attribute that credit to him, but then he might not have come there. So, but then initial preaching is a different thing. So there are many, it's a very subtle thing how we say, oh, this person preached and brought these devotees. That is just a institutional way of saying he preached there because he went there first. But actually, who transformed the heart is a very subjective thing. You understand the point here? It's not just one person preaching and exactly changing the person. There are many people involved.
Yes.
So many places you can see a younger brahmachari may be much more effective in transforming people's hearts than some seniors, who may be coming and going. It's a reality. You agree?
Yes, please.
We had in IDC also this that a person is inspired by Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru, and Srila Prabhupada, all three. And the ratio may totally differ. It depends on the individual. Make sense?
Yes, bro.
Any other question, bro?
Okay, just one more question. So, as you were mentioning, कि at the bhava and the prema level,
वो आपका वॉल्यूम नहीं आता है सिंगापुर में वॉल्यूम की कमी है
तो अभी आ रही है क्या आवाज?
चीटी जैसी आवाज आ रही है
I'll type it out.
Yeah, but what is the problem with Singapore?
तो ये प्रॉब्लम थोड़ा मेरे माइक में
Come back to India actually. Okay, anyway, you can type maybe. Yeah. Okay, bro. If nothing else is there, then we move ahead. Please be quick. Okay. Actually, anarthas are coming from our swabhava. So therefore, anarthas do not determine whether we are on the path of pure devotional service. Our Shraddha only determines. Anarthas may lead us to sinful activities also, but that doesn't determine whether we are on the path of pure devotional service. That may, anarthas and our sins, they may become obstacles to progress quickly, but they don't determine whether we are on the path of pure devotion. No, that is not our identity. Okay. So verse number 36. Mattam pramattam unamattam suptam balam striyam jadam prapannam viratham bhitam na ripum hanti dharmavid.
A person who knows the principles of religion does not kill an enemy who is careless, intoxicated, insane, asleep, afraid, or devoid of his chariot. Nor does he kill a boy, a woman, a foolish creature, or a surrendered soul. Purpose. An enemy who does not resist is never killed by a warrior who knows the principles of religion. Formerly, battles were fought on the principles of religion, not for the sake of self gratification. If the enemy happened to be intoxicated, asleep, etc., as above mentioned, he was never to be killed. These are some of the codes of religious war. Formerly, war was never declared by the whims of selfish political leaders. It was carried out on the religious principles free from all vices. Violence carried out on the religious principles is far superior to so-called non-violence.
See, recently in Delhi, the Jantar Mantar, the crowd inspired by these political people attacked on police people, even ACP and those soldiers and all. Now they were carrying guns actually, the soldiers and police people, but they did not fire. And some of them were almost beaten to death, almost. But they did not fire. They could have fired and they would not have been held responsible also, but they did not fire. So today people have no understanding how to behave. But see, the code of conduct for Kshatriyas were so clear for anybody in Vedic society. So an enemy who does not resist is never killed by a warrior who knows the principles of religion. That's what Karna had quoted to Arjuna when Arjuna tried to kill him on the battle. But Arjuna said, Krishna has told, so I can kill you. Parodharma. And then Krishna gave reasonings to Karna that you rascal, you from तुम्हारे मुंह से अच्छा नहीं लगता है ऐसी बातें. देखो देखो कौन धर्म की बातें कर रहा है. So that was another principle that tit for tat or नहले पहले पहला या ऐसा कुछ बोलते हैं ना. हाँ, ईंट का जवाब पत्थर से देना. नहीं, एक सेइंग है एक्चुअली. चोर को चोर, लोहे को लोहा काटता है, और कुछ है एक्चुअली. हिंदी में इतनी सेइंग्स है ना, इट्स वेरी. So it is said 10 people do not know dharma. Who are they? Matta, pramatta, unmatta, then tired person, angry person, hungry person, impatient person, lalachi person, and kami, lusty person. So these people, they give up, they may just give up dharma even at the time of when, जैसे किसी को लालच आ गया बहुत, तो वो बोला धर्म भाड़ में जाए, मैं तो कर दूंगा, मैं रेस्टोरेंट चला रहा हूँ, मैं तो खिला दूंगा जो भी लोगों को, पुराना हो जो भी हो. Or some very lusty person is there. oh, I will break all the regulative principles or all dharma just to fulfill my lust. I don't mind. So therefore, scriptures say sincere sadhakas should remain away from such people. So, and I think it's almost the entire world is like that only. So, what to do? Yeah. So here it is said that how can he kill kids who were sleeping, who were without weapons, and who did not resist? There were four reasons, all equally more than sufficient for Ashwathama to not have killed the sons of Pandavas, you know, Arjuna. But he killed. So they were kids, first of all. Second, they were sleeping. Third, they were without weapons. Fourth, they were not resisting only. And I would say fifth, nobody asked him to. Nonetheless, he killed. So this is condemned actually. Dharmavit, knower of dharma. Na ripum hanti dharmavit. Such a person knowing dharma will not kill such people who is intoxicated or who is insane. से पागल व्यक्ति अगर आपको आके ठोक भी दे, कई बार होता है ना, you see crazy people. I think the most number of crazy people if any city has in the world, that is New York. Maximum number of crazy people. Like you'll find, you just go out for 20-30 minutes, you will definitely find at least one crazy guy. कुछ भी बोलता रहेगा, कुछ भी करता रहेगा. One Mataji had attacked me and my cousin brother, you know. That was in what is that city? Baltimore. हमको लगा अरे क्या है, you know? और पुलिस पकड़ लिया तो वो हमको ही ठोकेगी, हम तो like we are not Americans. So it's very crazy actually. So crazy people, but then you don't do anything, right? You say अरे पागल आदमी इसको क्या करेगा, वो आपको मार दिया तो क्या है. जैसे आपके यहाँ से किसी ने कुछ चुरा लिया तो आप पुलिस में जाओगे, बट अगर गाय ने आके कुछ तबाही मचा दी तो आप थोड़ा पुलिस में जाते हो, अरे गाय ही ये तो है, क्या है, जानवर है. बच्चे ने मुंह दिया आपके ऊपर तो आप क्या बोलेगा, अरे बच्चा है चलो कोई बात नहीं. और मान लीजिए किसी बड़े ने मुंह दिया, प्रभु जी ने, माता जी ने, तो maybe whole life you'll remember and fight, you know. So इसलिए, you know, he is telling that somebody is insane, somebody is intoxicated, you know, or somebody is afraid also, ना. यार ऐसे नहीं बोलते स्त्री पे क्या हाथ उठाना, you know, अबला है. So dharmavit person will not act like that. Actually, Prabhu, we may be devotees, but still we should also have some decency in terms of such principles. Like sometimes I see devotees, they become like karmis only, you know, in the outside world. ऐसे नहीं होना चाहिए actually, that we become heartless, like, or we become disrespectful like normal karmis. Or sometimes I see devotees, of course, this is not a part of institution. I'm just saying as a principle. Devotees do not want to serve Krishna. I know so many devotees like that. They were there in temple. Some devotees graduate from voice or bass or pace or whatever may be there, you know. Or in the US we have this BYS or Krishna House. And Prabhu, they don't, you know, I was talking to this one devotee. See, in our community, I would not do that. But when I go out to other temples, especially in US now, so I caught this one devotee. He stayed in BYS in our center for 3 years. Okay, in the temple, in one temple, like 2 years. And 3 years he attended the programs and all. And he doesn't contribute. He contributes like $10 a month. I said, what nonsense, Prabhu. So, because I was trying to help this team, when I went to this temple, so I regularly go and the brahmachari was showing me, Prabhuji, we are facing funds problem. And so I told them, you show me like who all donate and what is your potential. तो उन्होंने बताया, तो मैंने देखा ये कुछ लोग, मैंने बोला ये, this is Prabhu, they are our primary devotees. They got initiated also through our temple. Or I said, they're giving $10. So then, I told you cannot talk to them like that because for you, you are here, so you are the receiver, so you have to. But then I could talk to these two devotees. I thrashed them, bro, like anything. I told you fools, you rascals, you ungrateful people. See, any yajna also is not completed. In the Vedic understanding, in the Shastras, it is there. If you do not give good dakshina to the Brahmana, yajna is not completed. I have seen yajnas where the Yajman was not giving anything to the pujari, the priest, the yajna. Nowadays, pujaris carry, the yajna purohits carry Lakshmi with them because they know Yajman may not think of giving. So that pujari gives. You take this and you give to me. You understood? He says, you take this and you give to. I have done this. I have done in 2, 3 instances. I won't name. I told, Arey, you take from me, but you give to the temple because it is your dharma. आपने अपने यहाँ पे प्रोग्राम करवाया है टेम्पल के डिवोटीज से आपने अपने यहाँ पर he Krishna will not be pleased with you. You know what kind of person you are. But because your family people, your kids, wife, they should not be deprived of the benefit. So because if it's a ceremony, like house opening or there are like some ceremonies like that, you have to give, you have to serve. How can one family? I told you fools, your home is 60 kilometers away from the temple where you called the devotees from. You know, and you did not even pay to the devotees for their time spent and coming, going, and doing, and for the petrol or something. Forget about giving from your side. You should have given all this and then done some seva from your side in your capacity. And you are like, so dharma with matlab, Prabhu, when we are, if you're traveling in the train and you see a pregnant lady standing, if you are a knower of dharma, you cannot be like that. You have to give some space to her if others are not giving. Doesn't mean you touch her body and sit, but you have to give space to her, or you have to get her space in somebody else's seat. कि माताजी आपकी सीट में से इन माताजी को एक सीट दे दो. Similarly, if you see a child, if you see a hungry person, if you don't have food, that's another thing. But if you see or if you see somebody is being exploited, like sometimes in some temples, I would see that people's salaries are being or people's payments are being unnecessarily withheld, unnecessarily by the temple account. Then I say, Prabhu, give. Why are you doing this? This is wrong. Sometimes I have seen some temple authorities or some wise authorities, they out of ego, they delay somebody's initiation. Or they say this person doesn't do any seva, doesn't contribute Lakshmi also. I say, Prabhu, it doesn't matter. From your side, you do your dharma. You cannot stop his initiation. That is, in fact, you should try to, from all points of view, give him benefit of doubt and give initiation. Only if you're crystal clear, or he's not chanting his rounds, or he's offensive, or he's not following for reg, or he's not determined himself, then it's another thing. But cannot. So we should know, bro, dharma with what is my dharma. So we cannot just be, oh, I am a devotee, so everything is all right. Whatever I do is all right. No, it's not like that. In general society, like and the worst thing is we exploit someone. See, you may follow dharma or not, but never do adharma. Like आप ट्रेन में चढ़ गए, एक डिवोटी मेरे को बोला, अरे प्रभु जी यहाँ पर सब, मैं पटना में था, बिहार का ही डिवोटी था, बोलता है प्रभु जी यहाँ पर सब एक दूसरे का सीट मार लेते हैं, जो सीट दिख गया वो अपना. मैंने, तुम भाड़ में जाओ, तुम करो ये सब काम, हम नहीं करेंगे. Similarly, 3 devotees from Mysore or Bangalore, they were from many years back. Actually, this was before I joined. So we were returning from Mysore to Bangalore. So there was one evening train. In that, some bogies are reserved, some were not. तो ये बोला रिजर्व बोगी में चढ़ जाएंगे और सीट घेर लेंगे, और घेर भी लिया इसने, और तीनों मस्ती तो बैठ गए किसी और की सीट पर. वो आ गया, मुझे लगा उठ जाएंगे जब वो आएंगे, वो एक फैमिली आई, ये लोग उठ ही नहीं रहे, बोले नहीं हम तो बैठे रहेंगे. मुझे शर्म आ रही, माय गॉड, मैंने कहा मैं भाग जाऊं कहीं तो, because I said, Prabhu, how can you do this? They said others also do it with us. This whole train is like, Prabhu. So I went into bathroom, Prabhu, for that entire 3 hours. Because I could not see that family eye into eye. I felt so guilty. I said, how can you do this actually? I told them I'll complain about you. अब उस समय तो सोशल मीडिया और ये सब था नहीं. आजकल तो क्या लोग फोटो खींच के वो रेलवे को डाल देते हैं. बट आई डोंट नो उससे भी कुछ होता क्या है. आई हैव नो आइडिया. But actually, we should not be like that. This is the worst thing we can do. See, we should not get cheated. That dharma doesn't say that. But dharma with means we should not exploit someone just because we have the opportunity. Best is we follow some dharma, from our side. Like as I gave examples, some pregnant woman you see. Like we should remember our acharya says so many places: women, old people, kids, then brahmanas and cows. They should be protected. Like I'll give another example. Sometimes, like when I travel by flight, so in some airports, that bus travel is even up to 5-10 minutes. There is one airport where it is Delhi Airport T2, where it is up to 12 to 15 minutes in that bus. That bus, especially if like it's a very huge airport actually. So it depends upon like where your flight is coming from. If it is on the last bay, and then the arrival is like far, and if you're undergoing the transfer of क्या बोलते हैं वो change of whatever so that takes 12 to 15 minutes. So my policy is that I never take seat, because I see that many people with heavy bodies, with aged bodies, okay, with like they need seat, and that those buses generally don't have many seats. So I always choose to stand, and I don't stand in the middle of the road. Road means like that, because then we are giving inconvenience to someone else. Similarly, like I always say in UP, they park anywhere and everywhere in the middle of the road. And sometimes our own devotees and drivers, आदत है. मैं तो चिल्ला देता हूँ, मैंने यहाँ नहीं पाल, तुम साइड में हो, पहले तुम साइड में करो. Do not trouble unnecessarily other people. See, if we do not train ourselves like that, then we become like Ashwatthama. We may be born, or we may be in a good institution like ISKCON. Then people also will talk like that. अरे ये तो अश्वत्थ, ये तो द्रोणाचार्य का पुत्र है, या तो ISKCON का डिवोटी है, ऐसे काम करता है. अब हमने भी इतने लोग ऐसे देख लिए ना ISKCON के नाम वहां पर. So our illusion is gone that just by you. So to whatever degree is possible for us, we don't have to die for all this. But in general, we cannot be like acting in ignorance. So that is a meaning here. That dharmavid person. Now judging someone else only by Shraddha, that should be applied to others, not to ourselves. नहीं मेरा तो स्वभाव है, but free will भी है ना आपके पास. That you use your free will. That is how you progress intensely in bhakti ahead. So the speed of the progress depends upon you willing to act on your Shraddha rather than on your Swabhava all the time. Some part of Swabhava can be doubted, that's fine. But if you say that, oh, my Swabhava, my mind तो इतनी चीजें बोलता रहता है, छोटी छोटी चीजें तो कितनी बोलता रहता है. Any girl you may see and you may feel lusty, so you may say, oh, my Swabhava is like that, so no. That's the whole point. If you have got solid Shraddha and solid attachment to Acharya, then you act on the platform of intelligence. Shastra says so. That is the right thing to do. That's how you quickly overcome your Swabhava. The point is you follow dharma. Don't follow your mind. Mind will say adharma, but the intelligence can say dharma. Okay. Any comments or questions, Prabhu, on this?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, I have a question. For example, you have given example of a pregnant woman, and so many times even we go and some beggar comes, so like they are hungry. Actually, we don't know for what reason they are asking money, but the thing is like at that time it becomes like is our duty to give them, and especially when we are in a devotee's dress, the expectation they have even more from a spiritual person. So they expect, not to,
Yeah.
at least not from us to behave like as what other behaves. So,
But there are many factors. So, like sometimes the person is looking like, you know, nashedi. So then, in their own interest, you may not give. I mean, you may give food if you have, but then you don't carry food always, na? That's one thing. So if you have food, definitely give, bro. But if that food is reserved for someone else, then again you cannot give. Like you are carrying Journey Prasad for another devotee, or somebody has given you Govardhan sweet to be distributed in ashram, and you're coming in that and some beggar asks, okay, you take. No, no, it belongs to someone else now. And if you see a genuine case, you may even give money. I have given money to many beggars, and I have received dhoka also. You know, but क्या कर सकते हैं, ठीक है. So that's depends upon our intent finally. So as per the situation, then we cannot judge you or anyone like based on that one thing. But yeah, as you said, we should be conscious about it. We should try our best. Yeah, and if the case looks genuine, then Radhanan Maharaj says give money. Don't have give some money. Give 10 rupees. Give 20 rupees. Give 50 rupees. At least give 10 rupees. That much though we can do.
yes.
Sometimes also, if you give to one person, you may see, oh, there are too many here. Then they may just pounce upon you like everyone. You know that kind of happens. So then you may not give also. Okay. Yeah, permanent question.
Guruji, I had asked this question. It is in the chat.
Oh, sorry. What about the time when pure devotees like Brahmaji make mistakes like running after his own daughter? We cannot say, bro. It's very, maybe Lord's Leela arranged in that way. It's very difficult. We have to rely on Acharya's purports entirely. So it's best. So टाइम तो हो गया शायद हमारा, यार क्या टाइम हुआ है, 8:30 हो गया है. बट दो ही श्लोक हुए. What should we do? Can I take for 10-15 minutes more, 3 more shlokas at least? Is that okay with everyone?
Yes, Proj.
Yeah. So if any of you are in hurry, you can carry on. At least this subsection at least I want to cover. Okay, text 37. You can directly read translation.
A cruel and wretched person who maintains his existence at the cost of others' lives deserves to be killed for his own well-being. Otherwise, he will go down by his own actions.
Yeah.
Purport. A life for a life is just punishment for a person who cruelly and shamelessly lives at the cost of another's life. Political morality is to punish a person by a death sentence in order to save a cruel person from going to hell. That a murderer is condemned to a death sentence by the state is good for the culprit because in his next life he will not have to suffer for his act of murder. Such a death sentence for the murderer is the lowest possible punishment offered to him. And it is said in the Smriti Shastras that men who are punished by the king on the principle of a life for a life are purified of all their sins.
Yeah, thank you. So see, Manu says in Manu Samhita that even the killer of an animal is to be considered a murderer because animal is also praja. So when a person receives punishment for his wrongdoing in the same life, it is an act of great mercy upon him. Because otherwise, when he carries it on to the next life, it comes very heavily back to him. It's like with interest. So punishing a merciless person or person doing wrong is actually a good thing. Just we have to see that the authorized people have to punish him. So, and somebody maintains his existence at the cost of others, he deserves to be killed, bro. Really. So there are so many people, who become bums. Like there are people who come to exploit our temples also. So we should be very careful not to allow people to exploit our temples. They want to come receive benefits, prasad, stay and all, and just a nice like ideally people should be paying like 15-20,000 rupees per month, living as a minimum, living in campus, very clean, such facility outside for that much space, only so much cost will be there. And then prasad, then other facilities. Then what to say of adhyatmic shiksha? Uska to koi cost, it's invaluable actually. But unfortunately, like you'll see, those are very pious people now. They don't want to keep 1 rupee, 1 penny of someone else with them. Like, this Prabhuji Mataji stay here. So they give good donation actually, every month. But even otherwise, and I say, "Arey, I am your grandson only. Why you have to?" Because they pay for prasad also separately. Sometimes they take some book or I give them something. So they give separate payment for that. I say, you don't have to do all this. So they say no. Like at once they had given 2 lakh rupees donation. Then I gave them one book actually some. So they gave me separately 20 rupees for it. I was like, अरे क्या कर रहे हो आप? तो बोलते नहीं नहीं वो डोनेशन वो डेट इज डिफरेंट थिंग इज अवर सेवा दिस यू हैव गिवन मतलब दे आर सो कॉन्शियस अबाउट बिकॉज दे से नहीं नहीं इस ये मेरा थोड़े ना ये तो इस जरा सी चीज के लिए मुझे इस दुनिया में रहना पड़ जाएगा और भगवान का तो मैं कभी नहीं लूंगा बट यू इमेजिन सम पीपल आई नो सम पीपल हु हैव इयर्स एंड इयर्स लाइक देयर इज वन गाय सम कर्ली हेयर दिस गाय प्रभु लास्ट 15 सालों से नहीं मैंने उसको कब देखा था पहली बार 2013 में 27 13 एंड हाफ ईयर्स हो गए उसको वाराणसी मंदिर में आके कीर्तन अटेंड करता है लेक्चर प्रसाद खाता है इवेंट्स में अभी भी भक्त नहीं बना है और 1 रुपए का डोनेशन नहीं देता है मैंने एक बार उसको बोल दिया रिसेंटली तुम हिल जाओगे ब्रो यू आर सच अ अनग्रेटफुल गाय तुमने इतना खाया है कृष्णा का और प्रभात का एंड यू हैव बिजनेस एंड फैमिली बट देन यू डोंट हैव एनी तुमने कम से कम जितना खाया है उसका तो दो मंदिर को कितना तो मतलब if it's a student it's a different thing you know you are a person who is earning या तुमने पहले खाया है तुम पहले अब तुम कमा रहे हो तुमको देना चाहिए कैसे व्यक्ति हो तुम एक्चुअली ऐसा तो सोचना ही नहीं चाहिए कि भाई मैं खा रहा हूँ कृष्ण का तो मुझे दो वैसे ही सेवा करना चाहिए सब कुछ कृष्ण का ही तो होना चाहिए बट तुम लोग कितने मतलब वो हो उनको बोलता हूँ कि यू आर सो पथेटिक एक्चुअली so many because of course that I told him because he was kind of giving problem to others but otherwise we may not tell a person but actually we should know this मेरे पापा मुझे सिखाते थे बेटा किसी का 1 रुपया अपने सर पे नहीं रखना कोई अगर बोल रहा है आपको कि यार तुमने मेरे से 100 रुपये लिया था वापस देता हूँ तुमको याद नहीं सी when I was a kid 100 rupees was too much our school monthly fees was 220 rupees the best school in the town तो मुझे याद है एक मेरे फ्रेंड ने बोला कि तुमने 100 रुपीज मुझसे लिया था कुछ महीने पहले क्लास में तुमने दिया नहीं बट आई वॉज 100% श्योर मैंने नहीं लिया तो मैंने पापा को बताया ऐसा पापा बोले बेटर गिव हिम 110 रुपीज बिकॉज किसी और का अपने सर पर मत रखो उसको ज्यादा ही दे दो कभी मत करो ऐसा वो गलत है चलेगा लेकिन तुम गलत हो गए तो तुम्हारे सर पे रहेगा स्पेशली और मेरी मम्मी मुझे बोलती थी किसी की हाय नहीं लेना कभी नहीं नेवर टेक अ पर्सन्स हाय समझते हो आप like somebody is troubled because of in his heart because of us not mind heart जैसे I have seen people taking it like there was one teacher okay in the place where I used to teach in 2010 I used to teach in coaching classes in Mumbai and in Trichy for my service so there was this in Trichy there was this one teacher And there was another teacher in Mumbai also, actually, both the places. They used to take advantage of female students. We could see that clearly. Sometimes they would touch them and all. So I met one girl in Triple IT last year while giving course. So she came and met me as a teacher or as a saint one day with her friend, and she started crying. I said, "What happened?" So then, I had given some talk from Ramayana that day, and something came up. So she was highly touched, and she said that I have been struggling since last 10 years, because 10 years or 5 6 years ago, because she said that in my home. So she was from Hyderabad, and she said in her home, her father's brother has been exploiting her sexually. My God, man. So she said, I don't want to go back to my home. I want to run away. उसका पूरा सुन के इतना, तो उसके दिल से कितनी हाई निकल रही है उस व्यक्ति के लिए, है ना. सिमिलरली, आई नो फैमिलीज जिनके रिलेटिव्स ने उनकी प्रॉपर्टी छीन ली, छीनना, हड़पना. पहले क्या होता था, लोग ट्रस्ट करते थे एक दूसरे को, साइन करवा दिए इधर से उधर. आई डोंट नो वेदर यू ऑल अंडरस्टैंड ऑल दिस, बट फैमिलीज में बहुत होता है प्रॉपर्टीज को लेके. सिमिलरली पीपल, जैसे लोगों को कर्ज में फंसा देते हैं ना लोग, कर्ज में, समझते हैं आप, नॉट बैंक लोन बट प्राइवेट लोन्स. Private loans, sometimes people take 50% interest, taking advantage of another person's. See, bro, Shastra say any business where you're taking profit more than 25%, that is sinful. Of course, if the market trend is openly like that, then it's okay. But if you're taking advantage of someone, this is not like restaurant and all other things. This business means like you manufacture something, or you. So if the business trend says it's okay, then it's okay. The normal norm. But otherwise, if you take advantage of somebody or you lie to them that no, we make it in this much cost, and people do it all the time, it is sinful actually. It is thoroughly sinful, which means you're basically taking advantage of somebody. करते हैं लोग ऐसा. आपको मालूम है प्रयागराज में ये जो महाकुंभ हुआ था, उसमें फ्लाइट्स ने sometimes had people had bought tickets of more than 1 lakh rupees. Mumbai to Prayagraj, Bangalore to Prayagraj, like that. 1 lakh. So this is not किसी के दिल से हाय नहीं लेना, कभी नहीं लेना. किसी का आप रेप कर रहे हो, किसी का एडवांटेज ले रहे हो, किसी को मैंने देखा है लोगों को एडवांटेज लेते हुए. जैसे किसी को पैसे की बहुत जरूरत है और उसने, मैं तुमको 8,000 ही दूंगा, आप उससे काम करवा रहे हो, which in general sense, like I'll tell you one devotee actually, he went to US और उसका कुछ पुलिस केस हो गया एक्चुअली. तो एक बार आपका पुलिस रिकॉर्ड हो जाता है तो आपको कोई जॉब देता नहीं. तो उसको ब्रो किसी ने जॉब दे दिया कि उसको सर्वाइव करना था कुछ समय के लिए. आफ्टर 2 years his case will be cleared up. But for 2 years this person was giving him like 1/4 money of what he deserved for that job. और वो मुंह पे बोलता है कि आई एम टेकिंग एडवांटेज ऑफ यू बिकॉज यू आर इन दैट सिचुएशन. मैं तो ऐसे ही, उसने सारे लोग ऐसे ही रख रखे थे, इंडियंस, मैक्सिकन, चाइनीज. इसके ऊपर कुछ किया तो हो गया. Of course it's not to laugh. I mean it's like, अब ये उनके दिल से हाय निकल रही, समझ रहे हो आप. बद्दुआ बोलते हैं ना, कभी नहीं लेना चाहिए किसी का. या you steal somebody's credit. Now this also in academic circles, in scientific circles, people do this. People take credit of someone. In ISKCON, you know what they do? In ISKCON, they'll use authority and भैया ये सेंटर तो हमारा ही है, तुमने भले ही, या मतलब ऐसे करते हैं लोग एक्चुअली, क्रेडिट लेना और अथॉरिटी यूज करके वो लेना. दिस इज वेरी 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 पथेटिक एक्चुअली. किसी के दिल से बद्दुआ निकलती है ना, वो बहुत बुरी रहती है. इट कम्स एट अ वेरी हैवी कॉस्ट एक्चुअली. द वर्स्ट टाइप ऑफ बद्दुआ इज व्हेन यू पनिश an innocent person. That should never be done. That if you do, isliye you see, even in the court of law, even if there is 10% still like chance that it's not clear yet, so then they don't punish. They say okay, you may not punish 100 wrongdoers, that is okay, but never punish one innocent person. That is generally the mantra of the law courts. Never punish an innocent person. Now, what to say when you rape a child? See, raping a woman itself is a problem. Raping a child, raping a teenager, my God. One of the Hindu families I met in Delhi, so they migrated from Pakistan, and they were telling actually that their three daughters, age 15, age 11, and age 4, were raped and killed by Muslim men. Gang raped. Can you imagine? Actually, मुझे तो 15 साल की भी बच्ची दिखती है मतलब कॉन्सेप्ट में आई डोंट नो एंड रेपिंग एंड किलिंग 4 year तो मतलब you don't even see that person as a girl, right? 11 year also. I don't know whether you see that person as a girl. It's just a child actually. I don't know how you. So they were like so grateful that they somehow crossed the border, and in Delhi they were given. Some people gave them shelter in their homes, and I think then this happened like I think 2 3 years back. This Modi government gave citizenship to such Hindus who migrated from Pakistan. I don't know, some act had come like that, so they got citizenship. So I was in train actually, and so these people were also in train. They were going to Mathura. Right? So they were telling about themselves to others because like, previous day only they got citizenship. So they were telling to other families. I was just there on the side berth. I was hearing. Very heart touching, very heart rending actually what people. So we should, like you can see pro Britishers and Bangladeshi people, Pakistani people, as a mass, as a country also they did a lot of atrocities. And you can see the cost they are paying. As a country. British इतने countries को लूटा, but अभी financial problem है. Now Muslims are taking over Britain, in many ways. अब पता नहीं आप लोग को पता है कि नहीं ये सब चीजें चल रही है यूरोप में बहुत heavily. बांग्लादेश पाकिस्तान को तो बहुत बुरा हाल है economically and all. So actually, if you take somebody's high, or if you an innocent person, a child or a woman, because woman, child, innocent person, or a cow, these people are considered like nihatta, like helpless. So if you exploit them, even if a husband exploits a wife, करते ना लोग ऐसा नहीं तो तुमको घर भेज दूंगा, और वो डाउरी के लिए heavy actually reactions आते हैं. So we should not do प्रभु such things. Even if you take credit of someone, na, like one devotee, he was doing PhD. तो उसके प्रोफेसर ने इसका पीएचडी बहुत ही एक्सीलेंट निकला एक्चुअली, इसका रिसर्च एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी था. उसके प्रोफेसर ने 55 लाख रुपीस कमाया 4 साल में. उसके रिसर्च को पब्लिश किया अपने नाम में, उसके रिसर्च को बेचा किसी कॉर्पोरेट्स को. 55 lakh that guy earned, okay? And he didn't share the credit with this devotee, and he didn't share the money at all. He told, तुमको पीएचडी पूरा करना है कि नहीं करना है, और फिर बोला कि मुझे भी मेरे प्रोफेसर ने एक्सप्लॉइट किया था, मेरा गाइड ने, और वो बोला कि तुम 55 लाख से ज्यादा अर्न करना, तुम भी एक्सप्लॉइट करना. So, he's my counselor, most of you know him, but of course I'll not tell name. So he was so shocked and surprised. He said, Prabhuji, what should I do? Should I also? You fool, how can you even think like that? But of course, you are not going to do. You are just asking. He was so bewildered actually that how can people? There is one devotee whose sister was asked for sexual favors by her PhD guide. बोला नहीं तो मैं तुम्हारी PhD लटका के रखूंगा. ये मुझसे बोला, मैंने कहा पागल हो क्या? I have no question, just. But see, कुछ लोग जब किसी दिक्कत में होते हैं ना तो लोग एडवांटेज लेते हैं. नहीं करना चाहिए एक्चुअली. People can take advantage as ISKCON authorities also. People can take advantage as mentors. People can take advantage in any. People take advantage as parents. I don't want to speak those examples. It's very dirty. But people take advantage. So we should not do. Some fathers they push their kids into नहीं तुमको शादी करनी ही पड़ेगी, ज्वाइन नहीं कर सकते. That is also आप हाई ले रहे हो आपके बेटे के हृदय से. नहीं करना चाहिए. तुमको इसी से शादी करनी पड़ेगी. बिजनेस बिजनेस कारणों से करवा देते हैं। ये सब मूवीज में नहीं होता है ब्रो, केवल ये सब होता है रियल लाइफ में, सब होता है, सब होता है। आई नो हस्बैंड हु मेड हिज वाइफ, नॉट डिवोटी, हस्बैंड और नॉट डिवोटी, मेड हिज वाइफ डू, क्या बोलते हैं, अबॉर्शन। बस बोला कि अभी मेरे को कमाना है, ये करना है, वो करना है, अभी चाइल्ड। सो वाइफ का एक्चुअली दिल टूट गया पूरा एक्चुअली, बस शी डिड अबॉर्शन, डिवोटी माता जी, बट शी हैड टू डू अबॉर्शन, द हस्बैंड पुश्ड। सो देयर, so so therefore, like one should have this that why should I uh, exploit someone, why should I take advantage of someone else, should never do। आप सामने वाले के हृदय से ब्लेसिंग्स ले नहीं पाओ ठीक है, बट एटलीस्ट नेवर टेक curses। See, this world is in such a way, like we made our temple here, so there are 2 3 people who became my enemies because they are anti temple, they have their own agendas, that curses is okay, you know we should not exploit someone and take curses for ourselves, but when you do something good in this world, curses will come anyways, that you cannot avoid। Prabhupada said na, many of the parents of my disciples have cursed me, Prabhupada is okay with those curses that is in Krishna's hand whether those curses apply or not, but when we exploit someone deliberately, and then it is, see, you may use your intelligence to take advantage for Prabhupada's service or for yourself. You may see opportunity for business in some scenario, and you may do your personal business also. That is intelligence. But do not exploit someone. You understand there is a difference in this. Like एक और तरह का exploitation था, लोग लैंड हड़प लेते हैं ना, लोग लैंड हड़पना समझते हो आप? Unfortunately, I have seen even initiated devotees do such kind of things. Very unfortunate actually. नहीं करना चाहिए। Okay, so वापस ज्यादा टाइम चला गया। Okay, better we stop actually because these are very nice verses actually. Very mostly devotees don't bother only about these things. They just say, "Oh, I am just Krishna's devotee. I am just chanting Hare Krishna. Whatever I do is all right." Oh. See, then why is Bhagavatam giving such verses? My question is that why is Prabhupada giving purports? Why is Prabhupada repeating such principles? Yes, that is not our first or our essence of our parampara, definitely, yeah. But these things cannot be neglected either if we are sincere individuals. You use your brain and you use your intelligence, you take opportunity. I mean, you make best use of all opportunities available in your life, personally, financially, spiritually. That's not a problem. But to exploit someone, no, that is not a good idea at all. And on the other hand, as we saw, dharmavid, one should rather also represent Sanatan Dharma to general public properly. Like even our choices as like leather products, buy or not, or do we unnecessarily waste prakritic resources, natural resources, unnecessarily? Prabhupada says use natural resources as much as you want in Krishna's service, but to waste them, no. So like that. Okay, Hare Krishna. Any closing announcement or comment, question? Okay. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam. Jai Nitai Gaur Prem.